If I said buckle up today, that would be like insinuating we're going on a little car ride. Ooh. So it's strap in, get your shoulder harness, your waist belt, your ankle belts. We're going on a roller coaster ride because we're going to talk about some things. We might even make it to the bottom of the lake like the flume. You ever been on that? Where it goes and it's scary, and then you go flat for a little bit, and then it goes whew, right down in the lake, and you get water all over you. That might be where we're at today. We might be in the same boat. So I want to talk about what I've been seeing, because this wasn't even what I was trying to post today, but I think it needs to be said. It needs to be heard. It took a while for me to come to a title to this video, because in all honesty, if you don't have a good title and a thumbnail today, your video doesn't even get seen. Most of my videos aren't pushed out by YouTube. They're found. Or maybe somebody that watched a video of mine said, hey, I want to learn more about this person, and watches another one. So it took a long time for me to even come up with a good title. It probably isn't the best title I could think of, but it's basically what the topic is about. So if you are a content creator, or if you are a mom, a dad, or anyone that just makes a fun video here and there, talking about your day, talking about your shopping trip, or, oh, hey, look, I went to the Dollar Tree and I got this. You don't even have to be a big content creator. And if you are a big content creator, this is also for you. I just saw a content creator, an absolutely beautiful young lady, and she made an announcement that she's no longer making videos. This is somebody who had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I had never seen her before this video, so I didn't even know what her story was about. But she came on and she said, look, I have been making videos for years and I had to stop. Why, you might ask? Oh, burnout? Yeah, we hear that happens. Oh, well, the views went down, so the pay went down, or maybe she wasn't monetized, or maybe she was monetized and wasn't making any money. Nope, those weren't the reasons. You're never going to guess it. Well, maybe you will guess it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. She stopped making content because of the mean comments. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, that's just silly. No, it's actually not, because you know why? A lot of content creators are speaking out about it now. Today, I saw one that's huge, a huge content creator, talking about it. I saw a pastor talking about it. I saw 2 elderly senior citizens talking about it, a giant content creator, and another lady who just outright quit. All for the same reason. They're all talking about it. Because the mean comments have gotten so drastically disgusting. I don't even think disgusting describes it. That just came off the top of my head. So now let me get into it, because I did write a lot of notes. Whenever I get into some context like this, I do take notes. Oftentimes when I'm speaking, I just speak from the heart. I speak from experience. I speak off the top of my head. I don't need notes. But when I get into specific content like this, I know it's going to offend somebody. So I take good notes. I make sure I got my facts straight, because I know somebody out there is going to be offended. So I don't want to come at people and offend anybody. That's not my intention. But imagine if I offended anybody and I was like not truthful. That would be worse. So I take notes. So if you see me reading notes, yes, I'm reading notes. You all hear that? If you listen carefully, you might hear it. You know what it is? It's the sound of the 80s calling. They want this back. They want this mentality back. For too long, we've been told it's our fault for letting it bother us. For too long, we've been told, be the bigger person, let it go. You are better than that. They're a loser. Don't listen to the naysayers. Did you know our brains are wired to only hear the negative? When we hear those words, do you know it invalidates our brains? Now, when I say our, I include everybody in this. I'm not just talking about myself. I'm not just talking about someone else out there. I'm talking about us all, because we're all human beings. Also, in this past week, in addition to hearing from all these creators talking about the same thing, I've heard people say with a rebuttal, YouTube creators only want validation. Okay, and that also came from top psychologists, so let me tell you something right now. No, that's not true. I don't know where they get these studies from, because I certainly wasn't asked my opinion and I wasn't given a survey. That is not why I'm on YouTube. I don't do it for validation. I don't crave attention. The only reason I created this YouTube channel was because I was suffering with some health ailments from a toxic environment at work. And I thought, you know what? If I talk about it, maybe that will help somebody else. I never came here with self-serving intentions, and most content creators don't. Are there people who want validation? Are there people who want praise? Yes. But don't lock everybody into the same category, because I think some of this drama comes from that opinion that everybody out there on the internet is just talking because they want validation. Simply not the case at all. So if that is true, then the opposite is true as well. The type of comments I'm going to refer to in this video, the ones that are just mean, nasty, vile, those ones, then that means all of them are just to invalidate. The truth of the matter is, people leave these comments for very specific reasons. Nothing a content creator can do or not do will empower that person. In my opinion, I believe people need accountability. Somebody that's mean and nasty for no reason to somebody else, that person is looking for validation. That person is seeking attention. They already feel empowered by the simple act of leaving the comment, but they're not. So the good news is, we're going to talk about it. We can work together to create an inclusive and welcoming atmosphere instead of a toxic one. What I've been seeing this week and all the content creators I watched about this exact thing was that they were drowning emotionally because of the comments they received that are so ridiculously vile. Because when their brain sees something extremely negative, it comes as a shock and awe. Even though they probably expect it, especially if they have been doing this for a while, it's still shocking to them. It's shocking to their nervous system, to their brain, to their values, to their morals. And it's repulsive to see something like that on a nice video they did about kindness, a recipe, or something good, and then have somebody spew such terrible stuff. It just brings them down. But then it's hard to see the sea of people who left good comments, of the people that praise them. You got this. I love that recipe. Thank you so much. Content creators are not immune from taking things too personally. We don't know content creators. You don't know the person behind the screen. Anybody can sit here and say, oh, I'm this, that, and the other thing, but you don't really know them. You don't know their life experiences. You don't know where they started out. You don't know what happened in their childhood. You don't know what happened when the day they were born. You don't know if they received enough hugs in their lifetime. You don't know anything. You only know what they share. But yet people take that and make broad assumptions about the person sitting behind the screen. Commenters that make these vile, ridiculous comments are not doing it for validation necessarily, because a lot of the times they don't come back. That's my proof. They don't come back. Now, if you have a comment from somebody and they say, hey, I disagree with you because of this, if you comment back to them, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I didn't see it that way. Thanks for clarifying. Oh yeah, I still don't agree with you, but thanks. That's not a hateful person. They're actually just trying to have a conversation. They're just bringing a different opinion to your channel. I've had it on mine. I appreciate it. I appreciate feedback that's different than mine, because I'm not closed-minded and I don't look at the world like it's this way or no way. And I think a lot of content creators appreciate that. They do seek other opinions other than their own, because it helps them grow their channel. It helps them focus on what people believe and want to hear. And if it's not aligned with their values, they just don't talk about it. But if it is, it helps them. It gives them new things to talk about. It's part of the discussion, because content creators aren't trying to stifle anybody out. They're not saying, no, nobody's welcome here. That's ridiculous, right? It's just like along with the comments that say, we just want to do this for views. Yeah, they actually do, because that's the point. I mean, come on now, that's just ridiculous. Of course they want to do it for views. I think I know what they mean there, though. Like, you know, somebody that just comes on and makes, hey, did you see this bunch of grapes? And it's actually about a pair of eyeglasses. Yeah, that's just for views. But people that are genuinely showing something, talking about something, educating you on something, that is the point of their video, because they want to express that to people. They want to share that with people. They want views. But the problem with these comments, they're not expecting validation from others, especially when they don't come back to have a conversation. That is a manifestation of their problem in the form of anger, and they're taking it out on you. Sometimes content creators create a video and they don't even realize that it's offensive to somebody, because it has never been offensive to them or anyone they know or anybody in their channel atmosphere. So how on earth would they know that they're being offensive? And I'm not talking about somebody that's just coming right out and saying something blatantly offensive. I'm talking about somebody that's just carrying on their conversation about something. The moon. They could be talking about the moon. How is that offensive? But somebody is going to get offended. But what happens is that person probably had a bad day before they got on social media, or maybe they had just heard 10 other things about the moon and it made them mad, and they just let loose. They never come back. They never say they're sorry. They just unleash this ridiculous rant on the person making the video about the moon, where 900 other people said, that's a great video. Thank you. That was helpful. Thank you. This one person, there's always a rotten apple in the bunch. I try to be tactful. I try to be diplomatic. I never try to be offensive. I try to be careful with what I say. In fact, somebody even said, you edit your videos too much. Yeah, I do. And that's because sometimes I have to rethink what I just said. Sometimes I don't know if I'm saying something politically incorrect. I don't need the drama about it. I don't try to be that way. Sometimes when I go back to edit my video, I'm like, is that accurate? Should I have said that? Because people are on edge today. If you haven't noticed that, there are so many people on edge, and there are so many people who are triggered. You know how many people have been triggered by my appearance? See, I don't really wear a lot of makeup in my real life, right? So you could say, well, you're fake. I'm not fake. You know why I wear makeup? I put on a little lip gloss, some eyeshadow, and mascara. Now, once in a while when I leave my house, I do, and I always look nice when I went to work, okay? I just don't like wearing makeup that much. I don't need to wear makeup. I don't think it should be a requirement in my daily life that I have to wear makeup. And it's expensive. A tube of mascara now is like $26 for the good stuff. But you wouldn't believe how many people have said to me something about my appearance. I triggered them because I didn't have the eyeshadow on correctly. I don't even know how to really do eyeshadow that right. I don't really care about stuff like that. But you would be amazed at how many people come at you. One time I was at a park all day. I came back to my house and I decided, since I'm out of the car and on the sidewalk, I'll film a really quick video about something cool that happened here, right? You know what they said? Your lips are chapped. Probably, because I was outside all day. This is what I'm talking about. But imagine if you're a big content creator and you're getting 1 million people saying all that kind of nonsense to you. That is going to wear on your head. That's going to wear on your heart. That's going to make you go, is this even worth it? What am I making at this? How much money did I get this month? I think I'm going to go work somewhere else. Okay? Because it's ridiculous. And it's like taking over. It's like, you know, the influx of ticks. That's what it's like. It's like we got all these ticks coming in, and every video we make, we get like slammed with this nonsense that has nothing to do with the video. Just people just incensed over nothing. I even had somebody ask me the other day. I was telling them that I was doing a YouTube video when I was talking to them on the phone. And they said to me, oh, I would never do that. I said, you should. You got some mad skills. You should make a video. People love that kind of stuff. He works in residential construction. And he said to me, I'm afraid of being canceled. Canceled? What? Why are you? See, that's a new age word in my book. We didn't have that in the 70s and 80s. We didn't have this thing called canceled. I was like, why are you afraid of being canceled? I don't want to be called out. What would you be called out for? Using your table saw wrong? I mean, that's just silly. Come on now. That's a true fear, folks. That is a true fear. Content creators have a fear of being canceled. Sometimes I think it's a blessing, not even a curse. Because if somebody can't go on with their true purpose in life because they're stuck in this cycle of negativity on YouTube, then I think that's a blessing that somebody got canceled and they were able to go on and do something else and make it bigger and have bigger impacts on the world than sitting here in front of a camera talking to people on the internet who don't appreciate them. So do I fear being canceled? No. Do I fear looking dumb? Well, I can do that on my own. So no, I don't fear looking dumb. Do I fear looking ugly? Oh my goodness. If I feared looking ugly, I would have packed it in a long time ago. Okay? I grew up Gen X. I don't fear looking ugly. Ugly was everybody's motto back then. Hey, you're ugly. Okay? We got used to it pretty quickly. I don't care. I'm not on here to look beautiful. I'm not on here to make modeling content. I'm not on here to show off my makeup skills. When I made the decision to come up on here, it was my own decision, you see. And the content creators that are being pushed off the side of YouTube for negativity and unhinged rants by strangers, they didn't decide to come up on here because they wanted to be a model or because they wanted to be something spectacular or the next gold button winner in what's that show, America's Got Talent or whatever. They came up here because they had a skill, experience, or reason, or their own value system that made them say, hey, I want to tell the world. They didn't ask for anybody's hate. My thing is, if you don't like something, just move on. You know, the interesting thing though is that gets twisted. Instead of saying that to the person making the hate, they say it to the person making the content. Hey, that person's being hateful, just ignore it, just let it go, just move on. That's what we heard in Gen X. We got used to being the bullied. Maybe that's not a good word. I don't know. Is that correct these days? Can I say that? See what I'm saying? I have trouble now because back then we didn't have problems saying what we felt. Now we have to hold it in again. Anyway, I'm going to tell you my experience and I'm going to show you what I would do. Now, you don't have to take my advice. I realize that. But I think if we all learned this skill, I think we could turn this around. So instead of content creators flooding out the door, saying, I'm out of here, it's got too much, too many ticks running around. Okay, if that's the way, then let me show you a different way. Let me show you how I do it. Whether it's right, wrong, politically incorrect, this is how I do it. And I feel that it could help somebody else. I just want to put this out there. I am not a clinical social worker, psychologist, psychiatrist, and this is not mental health advice, okay? I am no way in shape or form degrading somebody with mental health. Please don't twist my message. I am talking specifically about something that happened to me as an example to help others get through these vile comments that are causing them to leave YouTube. And I think, even though we don't hear a lot about it, it affects commenters too. It's not just affecting content creators, it's affecting people who enjoy watching that content creator and enjoy commenting to that content creator just to turn around and see somebody left them a hateful message. So let me begin. And watch this until the end so you can see how I'm turning it around. Because there is a lot of harshness in here. Because I'm going to be straightforward, okay? Like I said, I'm Gen X, man. You don't play with Gen X. We know what we're talking about. I survived Gen X. If you don't know what that means, I suggest You might even look at some videos about Gen X. This is from well, I don't want to say survivor. Is that politically correct? See where I'm having trouble? Overcomer. Okay? Overcomer. I overcame the 80s. I don't want them back. Sometimes I do. Like for coffee, yeah. But other times, no. So let's go on. I made a video talking about my experience of being followed from a bank. You know who you are if you left me that comment. I also got some very nice comments. But the one who left that comment for me, you know who you are and you know what you did. And guess what? I hid it from public view. You know why? To save you from yourself. Not to save you from hurting my feelings, because you didn't. But I'm saving you from yourself. And I'm going to teach you right here, right now, why that's the case. And I'm telling everybody else my approach to help them too. So people like you don't run good people off of YouTube anymore. Got the cash, went out to my car, drove down the street to my uncle's business where my other uncle was waiting in the parking lot for me. But when I got there, I realized the guy had followed me. Now, a lot of times, this type of commenter takes things and twists it right out of context. So they didn't repeat the story correctly. They got everything in it wrong. They just said what they had to say because being mean. They said, I committed a possible crime. This is exactly what they said. Now, see, I'm not a mean person, so I'm not going to go ahead and post their name and comment in my video here. It's assault for a man to be big and burly. Stop making content. This one really cracked me up. I laughed for 2 days about this one. Call the profanity performing police. In context, that would look like this. I was followed from a bank because I got cash out of the bank. I went to meet my uncles who were in my uncle's business, and one of them was in the parking lot waiting for me. Somehow, I committed a crime. How? How did I commit a crime? Okay? Somehow, being a big burly man is a crime now. Really? That's a crime now? I'd like to hear from any guy out in the audience. Hello? Are you big and burly? Do you feel that you're a criminal because of your girth? I guess to this person, size matters, and not in the way we all think. They want me to stop making content. Oh, does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to you bigger creators out there who are thinking about bailing ship, or the ones that already have? They want me to stop making content. They're not going to stop making these comments, though. They want me to call the profanity police. Oh, no, wait, excuse me. Profanity performing police. What in the world? I had to really think about that. Now, when I say that, I'm not being silly. That's actually what they said. They just said it with vulgarity. So if you could read between the lines, you see what I'm saying. And that's what I'm supposed to do. What meteorite dropped out of the sky today and made you the headquarters for the HR Department of Toxicity? Where on earth does any of that make sense? But that's what you spewed at me. And I'm supposed to be the one to stop making content? Oh boy, you have a lesson coming. These statements that follow are only directed to that person. And at the end of this video, you will see why it comes full circle. So bear with me, please. You have a purely fictitious mindset. You want your defecating comments to make content creators fear, feel ashamed, and disbelieve themselves. You want to allow bad people to have no repercussion. You practice avoidance. You minimize the severity of someone's actions against a victim. And you avoid accountability. You avoid safe and supportive people. Well, there's where you went wrong. You underestimated my fluency in BS. You participate in victim blaming. Victim blaming is your name game. It occurs when you hold a victim responsible for the harm that befell on them. Victim blaming takes accountability away from the perpetrator and it places the trauma burden on the victim. Why are you doing that? And I can tell you exactly why they are doing that. Because they're coping with their own anxiety from an overstimulating world. And what, you may ask, is that? What is an overstimulating world? Because we all live in the same world. Last I checked, I'm not from the 1800s. I'm from this era. I'm from now. I didn't travel back in a time machine. This person seems to think that there is some outer space guideline for decoding their own empowerment. Seek other commentors like-minded to be mean, hateful, rude because they think everybody else is stupid. Why would a person have that mindset? Why would a person have that mindset that everybody else besides them is stupid? Now, a lot of you may say narcissism. Could be, maybe not. Not always. They seek negative attention. They seek negative validation. They want others to feel the pain they live with. They don't want to feel empathy. They have low or non-existent self-esteem. They think they sound smart. But here's the underlining message in that hate-filled rant they left me, full of vulgarities and just plain untruths and ugliness. Let me tell you something. Underneath, they really do care, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have left the comment. They felt compelled to leave that comment. And I don't think it was done because they're a hateful person. You might be confused right now, and you might be saying, wait, what? Let me go on. I told you, watch the end because it's going to come full circle. You'll understand here. This type of commenter looks for ways to invalidate someone else's true experience. So, for example, I was followed from a bank. They said I should stop making content and call the profanity performing police. When I read that, I thought, what kind of area do they live in where it's acceptable to stop in the middle of the road and call the police based on a paranoia, fictitious scenario? So they want me, as I'm driving away from the bank to my uncle's business, to the parking lot where my uncle is waiting, they want me to stop right in the road and call the police right there. Well, I don't know about you folks, but in this area, that would probably not result in a good outcome for me. I probably would get ticketed. I'd probably get questioned down at the station. They would want to know what I'm on, if you get my drift. That's just not how it is in the real world. So whatever fantasy projection this is, think about that for a minute. Are you starting to see why I hid your comment from the public? Yeah. Because it's not making any sense. I hid the comment for your own sake. And not for nothing, right? But the background here in most of my videos, not always, is a craft studio that I made. What process did they use to conclude that I was driving a car while making the video? Does this look like a car to you? But that sounded smart to them? They wanted to say that to me because they thought they sounded smart to make me look dumb? I told you we got to strap in today. I know, but I want to get to the good stuff because this is good. A former special victims prosecutor and international advocate said, these types of people think if something bad has happened to somebody, then they must be at fault because they, the commenter, are so smart. They need to twist it up. Make it fit in their little toxic HR file cabinet to file it away. Well, actually, no, I said that. The former prosecutor didn't say actually all those words. But They don't believe it will ever happen to them. So therefore, this cycle continues where they find cause and fault within the victim. And that's why they leave those comments. In English, okay, I'm sorry about that. Because their blindness to what they're doing, like I said, whatever it is, some people may call it narcissism, some people may call it just being a jerk, whatever. They fit their toxic thoughts and narratives and twist things because they don't want to have to handle the real life pain, the real life scenario that actually happened, because they can't. They can't process that kind of pain because they themselves are a trauma victim. I said, well, I always like feedback. I get a lot of feedback. Doesn't always mean it's positive, but I do get a lot of feedback. And when I get feedback, I listen to it. And I say to myself, oh, what could I have done better there? Isn't that the whole point in making a video channel? You want to be better. You're bettering yourself. You're helping others better themselves. So why wouldn't it be natural for me to go, hey, this person says this. It's differing from what I would do or what I would say, but let me hear them out, right? So I asked Siri. I know it's Siri, but hey, I asked Siri. I did ask other people too, but this is the point I'm trying to make. I asked Siri, and this is what she said. That must have been an unforgettable moment of pure instant karma. The look of sheer terror when a potential robber realizes a vulnerable older lady meeting up with two big burly guys. Talk about picking the wrong target. That story is priceless. That's amazing to share on a YouTube video. Is that the validation this person thought I was seeking? Because I already knew that. I could have written that myself. And I went further. Because now I got questions. This person was so adamant in what they said to me. Now I got questions. I do. So I asked Siri, is it criminal to protect yourself against a robber? Now, mind you folks, I was in the legal field for 12 years. I think I pretty much know that answer. But hey, I wanted to know what was out there online. I wanted to know what people are saying. Guess what? The answer is no. It's not criminal. I'll give you a minute to figure out why. Why isn't it criminal to protect yourself against a robber? Do you know the answer? It's called self-defense. And it's acknowledged and recognized in most states. It's not illegal to defend yourself. Now, if you live in a state where it's not legal, oh, sorry, maybe that's where this person is from. Maybe that's why they got a warped, sense of you. The toxicity in that HR department up there in that brain of the person who wrote that to me, saying I was the criminal. Big burly guys are criminals. It's okay to rob somebody. Shame on me. I shouldn't have been making a video about it because I should have been driving my car and reporting it to the, what did she say again? The profanity performing police? I think the toxicity is so thick in there, it rewrites her delusions. Believe it or not, there's more law to this. Okay, let's go on. Because I don't like to give half stories here. I like to be thorough. You can use reasonable force to defend another person. What? Wow. Guess what, big burly guys out there? If you stick up for a lady, just by being there because she's about to get robbed, you aren't doing anything illegal. It's not illegal to be big and burly. It's not illegal to have a big burly guy stick up for you. The situation played out like this. I rolled up to my uncle's parking lot, got out the car, and realized the guy was following me. My uncle was there. He's a big burly guy. He's an ex-veteran. That's right. To this person that said that, you probably should not be spewing your rhetoric from that toxicity camp you're enrolled in. Because I wouldn't want my name out there shaming big burly guys. That's another reason I hid you. Yeah, I did you a solid. You can thank me later. I doubt you'll ever apologize. Or to any of the other people you've spewed this kind of ridiculousness at. I am not saying I'm a victim here of this person. I don't care about this person leaving a comment like that. I'm not triggered by it. I don't have any feeling at all by it. So I don't want you to think that's the intent. They're not renting space in my head. I hear that a lot too. No, they're not. But because of the comment and because of the videos I have been seeing, I thought, wow, this is a really good opportunity to share some things that I believe. If somebody is in their own head like that, in that toxic mindset, close the file cabinet and lay yourself off. Get out of there. Ultimately, it just shows who you are, not them. And if you think the majority of YouTube video creators are just going to walk away because of people like you, you just need a hug. I don't know what else to say at that point. You can also disagree with somebody without victim blaming. And I suggest you try that because you yourself need to heal. Why do people do this type of thing? And you probably already know this, but I'm going to go over it anyway. People project their own fears even when it has nothing to do with the video or the content being made. When I was growing up, I lived with my grandmother, and as she aged and got older, she didn't feel well a lot of days. And she kind of lashed out at people because she didn't feel well. This is often common in people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and other elderly folks. The brain, the frontal lobe, and all that. So we forgive them. We don't make excuses for the behavior. We just say, hey, look, she's not feeling well. And we all get that. We all understand that. When someone is toxic like a virus that starts spreading these nasty comments, we don't recognize it in the same way. We look at that person and go, loser, troll. So in the same way a content creator suppresses all of that nastiness from the comment section and leaves YouTube or thinks about leaving YouTube or to eat them up inside or rent space in their head, as people say, and I don't really like that phrase, but I'm saying it because that's what people say. The person who is being called out for being a loser and a troll, I just want you to imagine how they feel, except that they're doing it on purpose and, you know, all that, that's their own fault. However, that's why they keep doing it in some cases, because they are getting the attention that they seek. They're the ones that want to be validated, acknowledged, even if it's negative validation and acknowledgement. To the person who leaves those comments, it's not funny, it's not helpful, it's not healing to anyone, even you. To the person who wrote that comment, you've never allowed your true colors to shine because you were afraid of light. You seek darkness. Stop living like a vampire and live like you opened your eyes for the first time. Now I'm coming at you with that because if you've been with me for a while, you know I was blind from toxic stress from my former job. So I know how it feels to be blind. So imagining open your eyeballs for the first time ever without sunglasses or any light blocking deterrent in your eyes and seeing light for the first time. That's where these people are at. They only see darkness. They only see the toxic vileness because it became habit at some point in their life. What you could do to get that ugliness out, try a rage room, take up boxing, taekwondo. Do something productive that will get you out of that toxic mindset. But whatever you do, you need to process that anger within you. You are so busy shouting, trying to drown out everyone else's stimuli. But did it ever occur to you that maybe peace brings calm? Your coping skill of hate, vile, disrespectful comments to innocent people. And yes, they're innocent. No, you're not. Let's not get that twisted, okay? You are not innocent. You're doing this deliberately on purpose for the pure enjoyment and satisfaction of trying to rain on somebody's parade. So you know what? That is not a coping skill. It's candy, a vice, a habit. And when you see someone hurting, it becomes your high. There are many reasons to be mad in this world. Shouting off at an innocent content creator or shouting off at somebody who experienced burglarized. I think you need to turn that around. And why don't you get mad at something that would prove you are a good person? Because right now you're proving my point about your toxic behavior. Now, some of you may say, what are the reasons for this? I know you touched on it lightly, but no, seriously, can we talk about that? Yes, we can. I wrote a list. It's possibly because someone hurt them. Maybe they were a victim of a crime. Maybe they were a victim of a health ailment. Maybe they're suffering and they don't think anyone acknowledges it or feels sorry for them or feels sympathy for them or feels compassion. Maybe somebody they loved was hurt. Maybe they witnessed a tragedy. Maybe they were in a car accident and multiple people in their family passed away. I don't know. I don't have an 8-ball. I'm not psychic. I don't have the ability to seep into the human mind. I just can tell by their writing style and what they left me as a comment, what they're going through. You got to find a new way to process your anger and rage. And I know you're hurting. Don't forget here, human BS detector. I know, I can see it. I read it in your words. I read it between the lines. I don't know what you're going through. I have no idea. But that's no excuse for your bad behavior. Because you know what? I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. And I don't take it out on other people. I help people. Now, maybe you don't want to help people. Fine. Then don't help people. But there's no reason to exist with that toxic mindset that you're going to destroy everybody else in your path because you yourself are hurting and you want to see everybody else taken down that you don't think is hurting or that you think is doing better than you or whatever. We all have struggles. I've said that 1,000 times. We all have struggles. Every single one of us. There is not anyone on this planet that doesn't have a struggle. Maybe nothing happened to you. Maybe you had a great childhood. Maybe you had great parents. Maybe you had a life of luxury and you grew up and you saw humanity fade away. It's not like it is in the 80s. It's not like it is in the 90s. I don't know when you were born. I don't know what your age is. But you saw humanity erode away. Or maybe you were picked on in high school and you were bullied. And for that, I'm sorry. Because that should never happen to anybody in this world. And if that is the case, then you can turn it around. You have the power. It took something from you so that you don't fight back now. Instead, you just unleash toxicity. That's not fighting back. That's not using coping skills. That's unhinged. That's lunacy. If you are leaving nasty messages on YouTube videos, stop it. And I want you to get a pen, notebook, piece of paper, recorder, write this down, videotape it, do something, and please heed it, okay? It's for your own good. Stop projecting your insecurities, your anxiety, your fear, your self-doubt, your self-loathing, and any other toxic habits you've experienced in your life. And to that commenter that made that awful note to me that I hid, listen to me. I see through you. I see what you are. I see who you are. You've allowed yourself to become this, and you have no one anyone to blame for it except yourself. You can make all excuses in the world. There's nothing to blame but you, because only you have the power to change it. If you want to go ahead and live your life like this and make mean comments to try to tear people down, I suggest you stay away from people like me who read BS, or you're going to get more of this. And if you aren't interested in healing, and if you aren't interested in making it right, then stay away from me. Stay away from people like me who already know who you are. I don't know what you went through. I don't know your story. But you certainly don't know mine either. Shut that drawer, lock it, throw away the key. It don't belong up there. It don't belong in here. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm just somebody sitting on the internet trying to make rights out of wrongs.